Some ideas sneak up on you, a whisper, a picture, a fleeting thought that lingers in the back of your mind. They start small, almost like a secret, and then, before you know it, they grow into something you can't ignore. Sometimes it's a scene in a movie that plants the seed. You see a place so wild and beautiful it feels like it's calling your name from the other side of the screen. For me, it was the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis. Even the name sounded like a spell, something ancient and powerful. I'd seen photos, watched videos, but none of it felt real enough. I wanted to be there, to see the sky come alive with color. I wanted to stand beneath that swirling sky to feel small and awestruck, to let the universe remind me how vast and mysterious it really is. The idea grew louder, echoing in my thoughts until I couldn't ignore it any longer. It became a calling, a promise of something unforgettable. It was time to go north, way north, past the places I knew, beyond the comfort of routine, into a land that felt almost mythical. The Yukon in Canada called to me, wild, rugged, untamed. It's a place where nature still rules, where the land is as raw as it gets, and every horizon promises a new adventure. My friends thought I was crazy. You're going where it's cold? On purpose? They couldn't quite wrap their heads around it, and honestly, I couldn't blame them. I tried to explain the pull, the need to see something raw and untamed, to experience a world that felt untouched by time. I wanted to feel the thrill of stepping into the unknown. Some understood, their eyes lighting up with that "I wish I could do that" look. You could see the spark of adventure flicker in them, even if just for a moment. Others just wished me luck, picturing me as a human icicle, braving the cold and the unknown. They joked about frostbite and endless nights, but I could tell they were a little curious too. So, with a suitcase full of thermal underwear, wool socks, and a heart full of anticipation, I set out. I packed more than just clothes. I packed hope, excitement, and a sense of wonder. This wasn't just about seeing lights in the sky. It was about chasing a dream, about finding something bigger than myself. It was about answering a call from the wild, letting curiosity lead me somewhere I'd never been before. I was trading comfort for the promise of wonder, leaving behind the familiar warmth of home for the unknown chill of adventure. I knew little about the Yukon, but I already felt connected to it. It was as if the land itself was waiting for me, ready to reveal its secrets. The adventure had begun, and I couldn't have been more excited. Every step felt like the start of a story I'd always wanted to tell. Sometimes, you have to leave the familiar behind to find something extraordinary. You have to trust that the unknown holds more than just risk, it holds possibility. The Northern Lights were waiting, and I was ready to chase them. I could almost feel the electricity in the air, the promise of magic just beyond the horizon. The journey wasn't just a trip, it was a leap into the unknown, a chance to discover not just a new place but a new part of myself. I wanted to taste the sky, to feel the thrill of adventure, to let the wildness of the Yukon change me in ways I couldn't yet imagine. The Yukon was the perfect stage for the show I hoped to see. Every mile north felt like a step closer to something extraordinary. I was ready to step into the extraordinary, to let the North teach me what it means to truly explore. The call of the North was impossible to ignore. I answered it, heart pounding, eyes wide open, ready for whatever lay ahead. The adventure started the moment I said yes, and I knew, deep down, that I would never be the same again. As the plane descended, the world outside turned to endless white. The landscape below was transformed, every familiar shape softened and hidden beneath a thick, pristine blanket of snow. It was as if I was flying into a dream, where the ordinary rules of color and form no longer applied. Snow blanketed everything, softening the landscape and making it look peaceful. The wilderness stretched out in every direction, silent and untouched, as if time itself had slowed to a gentle crawl. The trees looked sugar-dusted, their branches heavy with frost, while rivers had frozen into blue ribbons that wound through the forest, glinting in the pale winter sun. Stepping off the plane in Whitehorse felt like entering another world. The cold hit me instantly, sharp and bracing, but it was invigorating, a reminder that I was far from home, in a place where winter truly ruled. The air was cold, but pure and invigorating. Each breath felt fresh, almost electric, as if the Yukon itself was waking me up. Silence reigned, broken only by the crunch of boots on snow and the distant rumble of a snowplow clearing the quiet streets. The world felt hushed, as if holding its breath. The Yukon felt vast and still, the sky stretching forever above. The horizon seemed impossibly far away, and the sheer scale of the land was humbling. I checked into a cozy wooden lodge, fireplace crackling, welcomed by a bearded host with a warm smile. The scent of wood smoke and the glow of the fire made the cold outside seem distant. "You've come at a good time," he said. "The skies have been clear, the lights have been dancing." His words filled me with hope and excitement for what the night might bring. As the sun set, the snow glowed with soft orange and pink. The colors shifted gently, painting the landscape in a magical light that seemed to promise adventure. Calm washed over me. I was finally here. The long journey, the anticipation, all of it faded into a quiet sense of arrival. The journey already felt worth it. Every moment, every breath, was a reminder of why I'd come. Now, all that was left was to wait for nightfall and hope for the show. The promise of the aurora hung in the air, just out of reach. The anticipation was a quiet hum inside me. I felt both restless and deeply content, eager for what was to come. The Yukon's beauty was both stark and gentle, a landscape that could be harsh but also deeply comforting in its silence. I felt small, but at peace. Here, surrounded by so much space and quiet, I could finally breathe. The adventure was real now. I unpacked my camera and winter gear, my hands trembling with excitement and a little bit of nervousness. I was ready for the night. The stage was set, and all that remained was to step outside and let the Yukon reveal its wonders. Night fell, and the world seemed to exhale, settling into a hush that blanketed everything in stillness. The cold deepened, and the only sounds were the crunch of snow beneath our boots and the distant whisper of wind through the trees. I bundled up in layers, feeling like a marshmallow, but the Yukon night demanded respect. Every zipper, every scarf, every glove was a small act of preparation for the hours ahead. We drove away from town, headlights cutting through the darkness, and stopped by a frozen lake under a sky thick with stars. The silence was profound. I could hear my own heartbeat, and the world felt impossibly vast. I'd never seen so many stars. The Milky Way stretched across the sky, dazzling and infinite, a river of light flowing above us. Waiting here was different, mindful, almost sacred. Each breath felt slower, each moment more vivid. We stood quietly, eyes skyward, occasionally whispering about a shooting star or a sudden streak of light, sharing small bursts of excitement. The cold crept in, biting at our cheeks and fingertips, but hot chocolate helped, warming us from the inside out. The wait became part of the experience, a lesson in patience and presence. We learned to savor the anticipation, to let the quiet fill us. I reflected on my smallness beneath the vast universe, feeling both humbled and connected to something greater. My worries shrank under that sky, replaced by a sense of wonder and calm I hadn't felt in ages. The world felt peaceful, my mind clear. The anticipation was electric, a quiet thrill that buzzed beneath the surface. Out here, waiting was an act of hope. Each minute that passed was a promise that something extraordinary might appear. I knew the reward would be worth it, no matter how long it took. The stars reminded me how much wonder there is, if you just look up and let yourself be amazed. The night was alive with possibility. We waited, breathless, hearts open to the magic above. The Yukon is more than landscapes, it's the people. I met locals toughened by the wild, but warm and full of humor. Life here is tied to the land and seasons. People live with nature, not just in it. At a cultural center, I learned about the First Nations' deep connection to earth and sky. Their legends see the northern lights as ancestral spirits dancing. Towns like Whitehorse and Dawson City still echo with frontier spirit and gold rush history. There's a sense of community, self-reliance, and appreciation for simple joys. Neighbors help each other, celebrating both summer's light and winter's darkness. The pace is slower, the moments richer. Being here, I felt that spirit seep into me, a reminder to slow down and savor life. The Yukon's culture is as unforgettable as its scenery. We waited for hours, toes numb, hope flickering. Our guide, Jean, just smiled. The sky decides, you can't rush it. Then suddenly a faint green arch appeared in the north. At first I thought it was a trick of the eyes, a ghostly glowing cloud. Someone gasped. Look! The arch brightened, stretching across the horizon, a silent promise. My heart raced. This was the beginning. The cold and the wait faded away. The aurora was more magical than any photo, alive, ancient, powerful. I stood mesmerized, the green unlike anything I'd seen before. It glowed softly, casting an otherworldly light on the snow and trees. The landscape felt transformed, as if we'd landed on another planet. Even in its subtlety, the aurora was breathtaking. The moment was quiet but electric with possibility. This was the magic I'd come for. The sky was waking up, the show had begun. I felt awe settle over me. The Yukon night was alive. The first act was unforgettable. The pale green arch began to ripple, shifting and moving. It transformed into ribbons of light, twisting and turning in the sky. The aurora pulsed, as if the sky itself had a heartbeat. Shapes changed, rivers of light, then vertical rays shooting upward. The movement was hypnotic, slow and graceful. A celestial waltz, colors deepened, emerald green, then hints of pink and fleeting purple. The sky became a living painting, impossible to capture fully. I stood transfixed, lost in the spectacle. The world faded away, there was only the dance above. Wonder filled me, childlike and pure. The universe felt mysterious and beautiful. This was more than a sight, it was an experience. The aurora was alive, and so was I. The night belonged to the lights, I never wanted it to end. The aurora reached its peak, a full symphony of color. Lights filled the sky, exploding from a single point overhead. We stood inside a kaleidoscope, green and pink ribbons cascading all around. Words failed us, only gasps and laughter broke the silence. The beauty was overwhelming, impossible to describe. I felt gratitude, just to be alive, to witness this. It was a spiritual moment, a connection to the universe. Tears welled up, not from sadness, but from awe. As the lights faded, contentment settled in. The memory was permanent, a treasure for life. The experience changed me, reminding me to seek wonder and look up. The sky was quiet again, but I was not the same. The aurora had touched my soul. I would never forget it. Morning brought sunlight on snow, but my mind replayed the night's magic. The aurora felt like a vivid dream, but its impact was real. I had a new appreciation for the natural world and my place in it. The Yukon reminded me how easy it is to forget the magic outside our doors. Patience and perseverance made the reward sweeter. Chasing the northern lights was a metaphor for any dream. Brave the cold, find the magic. Packing to leave, I felt peace and inspiration. The Yukon gave me a gift I'd carry forever: wonder. The memory of that sky would inspire me for years. I left with a promise to keep exploring, to keep seeking beauty. The adventure wasn't over, it had just begun. Always look up. My Yukon journey was more than a trip. It was a story of wonder and discovery. Everyone has a spark of adventure inside, whether it's chasing lights or exploring something new. Adventure is about curiosity and saying yes to the world. Sharing these stories connects us all. My own adventures are far from over, and I hope you'll join me for the next one. Subscribe to be part of this journey, a community of dreamers and explorers. Let's discover the world together, one story at a time. There's so much more to see.